Hi, I'm Mike McGowan, and thanks to the wonderful people at the United Way of Door County, we wanted to talk about a really important topic today. You know, I get asked all the time when I'm talking to people, how can I help? What can I do to help? I have a mom who, I have a son who, I have a friend who is drinking too much, using too many drugs, is really depressed, is anxious. How can I help? Well, what we want to talk about today is empathy. But before we get to that, first of all, let's talk about what doesn't work. First of all, when somebody we care about hurts, we hurt. We don't want them to hurt. So one of the things that we always try to do is take away the pain. Well, you know what? That doesn't work. Empathy doesn't start with the words, at least. You okay? No. And let's assume they actually answer your question, because as we all know, when somebody says, you okay? What most of us always answer is, oh yeah, I'm fine, even though the whole world knows they're not. If we could just be honest, we could get more help. You okay? No. What's going on? I didn't get into the college that I wanted to get into. Well, at least you won't have to pay any rent in your mom's basement. That's not real helpful, is it? I didn't make the basketball team. Well, at least you'll have more time for algebra then. That's not going to be helpful at all. The other words that are never helpful when somebody is down or they express something, what happened? I asked this person out on a date and they said no. Sorry. Bummer. I remember one time going up onto a high dive in high school. I'm scared of heights. And I turned to my best friend and he said, what's wrong? And I said, I'm scared of heights. And he looked at me and said, oh, stinks to be you. That was not helpful at all. Now, I think what he was trying to do was lighten the mood, take the pain away, but that doesn't work. It'll get better. You know, there's a lot of other opportunities. There's a lot of other things you could do. There's the other one that we know. We say a lot, oh, I know exactly what you feel like. No, you don't. You know what you felt like when you were experiencing something similar, but you can't possibly know what the other person feels like. And the two words that I love or don't love the most, you know, the minute I hear, you know, what I'm going to get is an explanation of why I shouldn't feel the way I feel. I have a right to see what I see, to feel what I feel, to experience what I'm experiencing, even if everyone around me thinks that I shouldn't be doing that. Lecturing doesn't help. Being told when you're really down about the thing that you did and why you did it and that it's the wrong thing to do when you already know it's the wrong thing to do because it just happened to you doesn't help at all. I told you that this would happen. What did you think would happen when you did that? Now, as I say things like that, don't the tapes play in your head? How many times do we hear things like that in our own lives? Doesn't help at all. This is for parents and probably well-intentioned friends. Fixing it for me. If I'm going through an issue, while you might assist me, if you fix it for me, while it might relieve your stress, it does nothing for me. In fact, if you take it away, one, I'm going to likely run into that problem again, that issue again, and still not know how to deal with it. But you just gave me the message that I can't take care of my own life, that I'm relatively powerless to do something about it. Doesn't help. Ignoring the problem, thinking that it will get better, doesn't do it. Teasing me about it, doesn't do it. Letting the whole family or friend group know, absolutely doesn't do it. Putting it on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, text messages, that certainly doesn't do it. In fact, that humiliates me. Finding out that my personal life is now subject for other people to talk about behind my back puts me in a further shell that makes it more difficult to climb out of. I already feel when I'm down, when I'm depressed, I already feel like I'm in a well, and all I can see are the walls around me. Now you might know that there's light on up above here, but I can't see it at that point. And that just sinks me down further. So what does work? Well, empathy works. And empathy, I tell kids all the time, is this. Oh, you can do it with me. Oh means you get it. Empathy is you put yourself in somebody else's place. You understand where they're coming from and seeing it from their viewpoint. It doesn't have to be your viewpoint, it's theirs. They don't have to share it. This is for the adults. Where you work, does everybody feel the same way about work as you do? Does everybody see the boss and the other coworkers in the same way that you do? Students, does everybody share your particular viewpoint on a particular teacher or group of friends or group of other kids or an activity? It's specific to you. Now, how do I get to your viewpoint? I've got to listen to you. I've got to listen critically, and I've got to ask questions. I have to listen with my whole body. Tell me about it. What's going on? What's that feel like? How are you doing? Really? Tell me some more. All of that is just encouraging the person to continue to communicate with you. Second, besides trying to understand their viewpoint, don't judge them. Judging them is a really lousy way of expressing empathy. Thank them for sharing. Now, again, we all try to fix it. We all try to take the pain away. There are many times somebody will tell me something that's really difficult, and my mind is racing. What can I say? What can I say to make this better? What can I say to give them advice? Okay, I can listen and just say, I don't even know what to say to that, but I appreciate you sharing it with me, and I'm here. That sometimes is enough. I've had so many young people tell me that just the thought that somebody else is there with them, that somebody else is willing to listen to them, is really important to them. Connecting is also a great way, connecting the feelings that they have. And you can help them explore with that. We talked in another video about how everybody experiences and talks about rage and anger and frustration. But that feeling of abandonment and not being respected that are deeper, we don't oftentimes articulate those right off the bat. We don't articulate feeling humiliated and embarrassed. We say we're mad. So trying to help the person connect with their feelings is a part of it. What are you feeling? Really ticked off. Looks like it. What are you going to do about it? What could you do about it? How else do you feel besides ticked off? Sounds like you're a little embarrassed. Yeah, I guess I am a little bit. Or they can say no. By throwing it out there, you give them the opportunity to either validate their feeling or say that that's not what they're experiencing at all. We just can't know what they're experiencing it. Action, doing something. When some of us go through stuff, what we hear a lot is, if I can be of any help, just let me know. Well, I don't know about you, but I've lived a long time, and I can count on almost no fingers the time somebody has called me and said, you know that statement you made about if I can be of any help? I'm calling in that favor. I want you to help. Nobody follows up. I think what we're really saying is, I'm here for you if you need to reach out. Well, why wait? If somebody is feeling down, do something. Take something over to their house. After somebody passes away, I just had a friend of mine who had a relative pass away. And she was beside herself because she had so many hot dishes and casseroles show up to her house in the first week. She didn't know what to do with them. She had to ask a neighbor to put some stuff in their freezer. She said she had enough casserole to last until the next millennium. Well, that gets her through the first week. But somewhere around the 5th, 6th, 7th week, when everybody's going about their own business and she's sitting at home by herself and she's experiencing that loss and feeling that feeling all over again, would be a great time for somebody to show up, to knock on the door, to say, let's get out of here. Let's go for a drive. Let's go shopping. Let's go to a movie. Let's go to a ball game. Let's do something. A lot of times, teenagers, middle school kids tell me they just want to stay in their room. They want to get on their social media. They want to stay alone. Doesn't help. In fact, the social media, as we've talked about before, actually makes it worse because it reinforces sometimes those feelings of abandonment and feeling lonesome, feeling down, feeling depressed. Having somebody come over and saying, come on, let's go. And doing something where you're actually getting outside, as we talked about in one of the videos, where we're building up some of our skills, where we're exposing our brain to some chemicals that it isn't going to be exposed to sitting in a chair, eating a ton of Pringles and watching a ton of SpongeBob. Do something. Everybody experiences life in a little bit different way. Everybody experiences their feelings in a little bit different way. We simply need to be available by understanding what they're going through from their viewpoint, connecting them with their feelings and trying to stay connected to our own, not judging them, and doing something, taking some action. That's what works. Now, one last thing. If you're watching this and you need someone to talk to, and you came across this video because that's just where you're at, and sometimes that's the way life works, where you come across something at just the right time. If you need somebody and you're down, talk to somebody. If you don't know who to talk to, there's numbers on here that you can call. There's people whose job it is to listen. The people who sponsored this video care. I care. Lots of people care. Find them.